Welcome back to The Explainer. Now, today we're actually taking a pretty unique approach. Usually, we're swimming in massive data sets, reading through lengthy research papers, dense articles, and working really hard to distill all that complex information down for you. But today, well, our source material is entirely different. It's actually provocatively brief. We're examining a single, highly focused query about a specific event in India, and we're looking for a full description of what this query really means. We aren't going to invent answers here, and we're definitely not pulling an outside context that simply isn't present in our text today. Instead, we're going to deliberately examine exactly what this isolated query represents, how it functions as a piece of raw information, and what it leaves completely unanswered. It's honestly a fascinating exercise in understanding exactly how we begin the pursuit of knowledge. Okay, let's dive into this. The exact unedited query that makes up the entirety of our source material today is literally just 6 words long. What is CJP protest in India? That's it. There's absolutely no accompanying data here. We don't have historical context. There are no specific dates to anchor us, and no named figures to go research. It's kind of like that raw, unfiltered search string you might frantically type into your phone late at night when you've just caught a fragment of a news headline and you simply want to know the whole shebang. By analyzing the specific text, we're essentially looking at the absolute foundational unit of all learning, the unanswered question. Every single deep dive into a complex topic, every comprehensive explainer we do, starts with a fundamental gap in knowledge, just like this one. It perfectly highlights that exact moment a person realizes, hey, I'm missing a crucial piece of the puzzle here, and they actively decide to seek it out. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that by placing those exact same 6 words inside quotation marks, we completely change how we interact with them. We're transforming them from an active, open-ended question into an artifact. It becomes a direct, static citation. It marks the absolute boundary of the information we have available to explore today. We literally cannot tell you the who, the what, the where, or the why of a CJP protest, simply because our provided text stops exactly at the final letter of India. It is a closed loop. But, as a focused learner, you can really appreciate the immense value in recognizing the hard limits of a given source. Look, in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information, identifying exactly what you don't know and what your sources aren't telling you is often the single most vital step in any thorough research process. It stops us from making assumptions, and it forces us to acknowledge exactly where our current understanding ends. So the crucial point is, what happens when we strip away the punctuation entirely? Without the questioning tone of the question mark, and without the rigid boundaries of the quotation marks, we're just left with a raw sequence of underlying concepts. We've got a fundamental inquiry of what, a specific entity called CJP, a distinct action of protest, and a geographic location, India. It's actually a pretty powerful reminder that comprehensive information doesn't just spontaneously exist, right? It has to be actively uncovered and pieced together. When a source provides only a prompt or just a quick series of keywords, it leaves us completely hanging. It shifts the entire burden of discovery right onto the observer. It's like someone hands you all the ingredients, but gives you absolutely no instructions on how to bake the cake. It demands that we, as information seekers, take that next step to connect these isolated concepts into a coherent narrative. So, bringing this whole thing full circle, we are left with the exact same words we started with, completely unembellished. What is CJP protest in India? We end here because, well, that's the strict reality of our source text today, and it forces a really provocative thought about our modern relationship with information. If you're looking for a full description of an event, what is the true nature of seeking knowledge when your only source is an unanswered echo? It tells us that genuine learning requires moving far, far beyond a single isolated query. It requires synthesis, active exploration, and the relentless seeking of the broader context that this specific isolated text simply does not provide. Recognizing that gap is the first step in bridging it. So until next time, keep questioning and keep seeking those answers.